Oh, I'm very aware of that, sir.
Does anything major happen in any episode of this show?
I mean,
No.
What's up, Andres?
hey Kyle, what's up?
All right, Andres, go ahead, sir.
Hello, greetings and salutation, everyone. This is Andres, Pop Culture Guy. I am your moderation tonight. Sorry for the lateness, but anyway, was battling my arch nemesis in time and space. But anyway, that's all that. So I'm here today with three great hosts for tonight for the Night of the Seven Kingdoms, the episode 3 live recap and breakdown. So let me start introducing Kyle. Kyle, welcome back, sir. How you doing?
It is good to be back. I just want to know: is your arch nemesis is it egg or scrambled egg?
Kyle is from the Fandom Podcast Network.
Fandom Podcast. Thank you. I mean, actually, it was Mr. Fandom. He's my arch nemesis.
True Believers. True Believers is the last is what I've guessed it on before.
Yeah. But that is our show that covers everything Marvel, but we got all kinds of shows all over the network that cover a bit of everything.
Yeah, Kyle
Kyle Thrones in a while, so I'm
Kyle does all kinds of weird shit, man, content wise.
Yes.
I'm all over the place. But
Kyle covers like 80s television shows and shit like that.
Yes.
I'm waiting for the special edition She-Hulk show just for you, Jeff.
Oh no! Please don't say that. He's gonna trigger him now.
I honestly, sir, I wouldn't accept the invite for the She-Hulk, recap show or whatever. Like, I would not. As much as I'd love to, come visit you guys over at FPN, I would decline the invite.
I've just given the universe the key to making Jeff not appear on your shows. You just talk about She-Hulk.
I think it's nice to revisit She-Hulk once in a while as like a joke or whatever, from here to there. Like, oh, She-Hulk. Well, I remember that experience or whatever, like nostalgic or whatever. But I overall, as I mentioned before multiple times, I don't want to get heavy into it, but my experience of doing recaps of She-Hulk during She-Hulk started off like pretty much standard and then devolved over time to where by the end of it, actual relationships that I had in content creation were broken up over it.
I'll close out on the She-Hulk. I won't bring it up again other than the fact, this is the right show to bring it up because I think Dunk is tall enough that he could look She-Hulk in the eye.
True. I mean, he is tall. I mean, he is.
She-Hulk doesn't connect to this show at all.
No. Thank God. Yeah, thank God. Awesome. Well, thank you, Kyle. Of course, we got Jeff as TrueKnowledge, the co-host of MCU Bleeding Edge. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, that's me. I've been talking a lot, so obviously that's who I am.
Yes, and we're very proud of you being very talkative. So that's good. Yes, and of course we got Cyberneticshark, who's also the co-host of MCU Bleeding Edge. How you doing, sir?
I'm just hunky dory, sir.
All right, awesome. All right, so let's just go to Red Robin. Let me go to you, Kyle. Let's hear your opinion on the show. Are you a big Game of Thrones fan? And what do you thought about this episode 3, sir? Go ahead.
Well, I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan. I think the original is one of the greatest television shows that has been made in the modern century for sure. This show has been interesting in the aspect of it, and I was talking with Jeff about this before we started the show. It has threads of Game of Thrones, but it doesn't necessarily feel like Game of Thrones, and I think there's a few reasons why. One, the shortness of the episodes has kind of stood out to me, and just the fact that this show has been an absolute slow burn. I think up until the ending events of this episode, where you feel like it's the first time I felt like, okay, now some shit's happening, and it's going to draw me in to want to watch episode 4 because now I got to see what direction they're going to go with this. But I think it's fun. I think what this feels like is a side show Game of Thrones in the aspect of, okay, yeah, it's in that world, but we're just going to have some fun with it and see what kind of craziness we can get with it. And I'm going to be really curious as this show goes along and how it develops and what directions they take it, because it almost feels like a Game of Thrones comedy in some ways. And like, this is how Game of Thrones might do a comedy show. The only thing we're missing is Peter Dinklage cracking one-liners.
Yeah. Or Nick, I was thinking maybe Nick Offerman or a bunch of those crew from Parks and Rec be in your show.
There you go.
You
Now
know?
I will say this: I do like the character of Sir Dunk, and I like the actor who's playing him. But I think the biggest thing for me right now is up until, like I said, this week's episode, everything has just felt like it's been like running at half speed. It's just been set up about characters we really don't know anything about, and it almost feels like it's a Game of Thrones meets Knight's Tale a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of agree with Kyle. The show was designed for that. I mean, that's what the book is about, right? The story that's based on. It's basically the Knight's Tale, but in Game of Thrones. And so, apparently, what is it? George R.R. Martin is a big fan of this. This type of game. I don't know what you call it, the tournament that you see here.
The jousting, the
jousting.
I mean, it feels like I'm waiting for Heath Ledger to show up. I mean, that's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah, and then seeing everyone like clapping into the like modern songs, like I remember that from the movie.
I mean, a little Queen and Game of Thrones wouldn't hurt anything. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Awesome. Anything else to say?
Just I was actually very excited for the show when they announced it, and the first trailer really did grab me. I thought, oh, this could be a lot. This could just be fun. It hasn't lived up to everything I was hoping for yet, and there was definitely the opening of episode 2 I could have really lived without. I don't know if I can unsee that, but I'm willing to give this a few more episodes to see what they do with it and what direction they take it, because it's Game of Thrones, and Game of Thrones really hasn't steered me wrong yet.
Yeah. Oh, nice cat.
Yeah.
Just barging.
He wants in on the discussion.
Yes. How many bathroom takes that this show has? Anyway, a lot of bathroom jokes. I never imagined.
It's with this crew. Is there anything else?
Yeah, I know.
There's no bathrooms in the Night of Seven Kingdoms, Andres.
No. Like no. In comedy movies and shows, like especially UK, there's a terminology called bathroom jokes, because they do like a lot of the cliche farts and bathroom like related jokes, that's why I'm saying bathroom joke. I'm not saying
the problem is the Targaryens take all the nice shitters.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Kyle say. So no, I'm not saying that there's bathrooms in the Game of Thrones. I'm saying that they're using this particular joke. Like if I use a joke about like I don't know, like
I understand what you're saying. I get it.
Yeah,
I understand.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying there's real bathrooms, but it'd be funny if they have one. And then that made the show to be the top tier comedy show of 2025. All right, Jeff, your thoughts on episode 4? Go ahead.
Well, the show's not that funny for one thing. It's nice that they've added this, comedic sort of zing to the, this show, but it's a nice change from Game of Thrones, but I mean, honestly, as far as Game of Thrones goes, Game of Thrones, just like a lot of other stuff that HBO has done, completely, I think has affected the entire fantasy genre of like television, now, in terms of what's possible almost, it's a very influential show, it was not only like super, super popular, but it was also seriously influential, I think, in terms of, other, other studios out there trying to delve into that fantasy genre. I think it's very like loose, very loose to call this a Game of Thrones spinoff show, to be honest with you. This is the feel of a Night of the Seven Kingdoms is nothing like the way that Game of Thrones feels. Things happen and like actually occur during an episode of Game of Thrones, you know? And honestly, I could be wrong, but I don't believe Game of Thrones ever had an episode that was 31 minutes long ever. I don't think Game of Thrones ever delved into the 30 minute marks for their episodes. They were always standardly an hour to like 50 minutes to plus type episodes. So having this one be 31 minutes, honestly, that means that with the end credits, that means the actual length of the episode, without the end credits, is actually only like 27 minutes or something like that.
I think there's a reason for that, though, because I think this show was originally written to be a movie, not a show. And I think HBO decided, it's Game of Thrones, we're going to make it a show. So
no, that's not what happened. Kyle, the HBO doesn't, they don't operate like that. When they create television, nothing that they make ever starts off as a movie. You know what I'm saying? That they're just not that kind of. They don't make films anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Normally I would say that, but let's not forget that Zaslav still at this point was influence.
HBO Studios or whatever. They have nothing to do with cinema now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, other than producing cinematic level television shows.
Let me clarify. I don't think this was ever planned to be like a movie to go out in theaters. I think this was supposed to be like an HBO original film.
George R.R. Martin already said that he never thought any of this stuff would work as a film. You know what I'm saying? Like it's too much. Like that was already his take. Was that if anybody wanted to do anything like Game of Thrones, for instance, or whatever, that it would not work in film. Because it would just be too much. Which I think he's probably right. The novels are expansive. There's a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? Like The Song of Ice and Fire. It's a lot, television is the only way I think to really adapt this stuff. If you want it to be, book dedicated, right? Which I think that they're still trying to make that happen. I don't know with this show. I don't know how linear this story is to the novels. I have no idea. Which is, a little different than Game of Thrones, where I at least have some idea kind of like how that stuff works. But Atlantis Seven Kingdoms is a pretty watchable, entertaining, at times lighthearted, at other times, graphic, type HBO type television show, it's certainly not going to have the same impact that Game of Thrones had at all, but like Kyle said, it has some good things going for it. I mean, the main actor that plays Dunk is excellent. At least in this capacity and playing this role in this show, he seems really up to task. Like you can see why they cast him. He's very engaging on screen. And as usual, very standard to HBO. The general casting overall, on the show seems to be pretty solid. But you don't really see anybody on the show that's a known commodity, really. It's usually pretty atypical to what you usually are going to see with a lot of HBO shows. When you look at Game of Thrones, it was very worldly cast, if you will. You really leaned on a lot of no name actors on that show. And it worked very well. Yeah, I mean, I'm digging it so far. I don't particularly enjoy, honestly, 31-minute long episodes of TV shows. Normally, that's just not my deal. I'd rather have a 50-minute long, episode if possible. But again, like Kyle said, I mean, everything that's happening so far going through episode 3 makes me want to see more of it. I'm looking forward to episode 4. Hopefully it'll be a longer episode and maybe some more stuff will happen. This show just kind of crawls, in its own sort of, entertaining way, not a lot of really intense, shit really happens. It seems like, at times. But I mean, definitely, ends in a cliffhanger in episode 3 without question, sets up episode 4 very well.
Agreed. Yeah. Speaking of well-known actor, more well-known character. Well, we'll see if I had to ask you guys about the opening, but yeah, I agree. Yeah, very weird show to deal with. Yeah, I kind of agree with you about the 30-minute thing. I'm not a fan of that either, but it can work if you have a good, good storyline and all that. Okay, Saber, you're next, sir. What's your opinion on episode 4, sir?
I absolutely loved this episode. I thought it was absolutely fantastic, enjoyable, entertaining. I love all the jousting. I love everything about this episode. I love the relationship between Egg and Dunk. And I just love the whole kind of thought process, that great twist at the end. I just thought this was a really superb, great episode that definitely I can see why it would be considered like a filler episode, but at the same time, it didn't feel like crappy filler. It felt like good filler. So I was really thankful for that. And even though it was super short, I still think they got a lot in, and it had a lot of fun, lots of great bloody action, and some really fun time. So I think it was a really superb, excellent episode.
Awesome. Question: is this going to be a 10 out of 10? Mr. 10?
You'll have to wait and find out.
Damn it, Kyle.
Call the teaser.
Yeah, teaser. Yeah, right. He's teasing us. Kyle, he has a new name now. It's not Cyberneticshark. It's Mr. 10 because he gives every episode we review or movie a 10, and that's his. That's his nickname now. Anyway,
that's not true. I've seen him not give a 10 multiple times, a lot of times.
That's true. That's true, folks. We're just teasing.
It's his New Year's resolution. He's giving everything a 10 for the entire year.
Oh, that's a good one.
I've seen Cyber rate a lot of different episodes of a lot of different TV shows, and overall, he does not usually give 10s. Just to be fair.
No, that's true. I mean, I see him. Give 1 or 2 like a 5 or a 4, So anyway, we're just teasing Cyber, folks.
I've seen him do a whole TV show and not give a 10.
Really? Oh.
But did he give a damn?
Yeah, that's true. I never. Yeah.
I don't know. I never asked him during the recaps if he gave a damn or not.
Do I give a damn? No.
No. Oh my god. All right. Let's do the recap. Okay, so this episode's titled The Squire. Very appropriate name for this episode. Because we get more like Egg and his background, finally. Which we kind of knew. I mean, like throughout the year and pretty much these last 2 episodes we've been reviewing, like we kind of know where we're the reveal for Egg is gonna be. But anyway, so we open up with Dunk sleeping, right? And then the same time we see Egg like train the warhorse Thunder, and I thought to myself, oh my god, this is gonna be the first episode where we don't have poop or a big dick scene, or like any nudity, bathroom jokes, as I was saying before. And then no, we see a horse, doing his thing. His number 2, he's taking, a dump. And I was like, God damn it. Damn you. Now you have to see again what we're doing so well in the opening. And we see, Thunder doing very well with the commands that Egg was doing. By the way, Egg is really good. I actually will say Egg, he's a really great character. Love his chemistry with Dunk. The kid is really natural, I gotta say. Definitely one of those one of those things where like sometimes we don't get great kid actors. This one is totally different. I think this kid is really good. He has a bright future, I have to say. And then he is so while he was like wrapping up the training of the Thunder, right, he is confronted by the one-eye Sir Robin Wrestling, and this is where I need to ask you guys, this is the same character from the original show where he was like immortal right? Like someone has to remind Kyle, like you know what I'm talking about, because there was a character where he was using dark magic in the original show. He was one eye.
I don't think this is the same character.
Okay, okay, thank you. Because I thought, like, because I seen the 8 seasons last year with my mom, and this character was kind of important, in the series. I'm not gonna get too deep, but okay, thank you. Because I was like, is that the same character? I was like, whoa, but nope. So this random ass one-eye person comes in, asking he stole this horse, whatnot. Yeah, question, yeah, the horse was stolen, right? Yeah, then after that, this is where I'll wrap up. Egg later forms dunk that the only highborn knights compete on the tournament the first day. So let me stop there. Let me get to you, Kaya. What do you thought about this opening up to when Egg like tells Dunk about like the highborn knights compete on the tournament's first day? Go ahead.
Oh, I think that's what this episode really does, and you see it in the first half, especially, is it really does establish Egg as more than just what we've seen so far. I mean, I had my suspicions about Egg from episode 2 going forward, that there was more to him than what they were showing, and well, of course, we find out later in the episode. But they drop just enough clues with him having all this knowledge of knights and highborn and how that works for a kid who they try to portray it as, oh, he's this flea bottom type kid who, but he has way too much knowledge. And then of course in episode 2, in the episode when we hear about the missing Tigerian child and stuff like that, it doesn't take long to put 2 and 2 together. But what I like about it though is that it's the relationship between Dunk and Egg that I think is one of the things that's making this show right now, because in a way, Dunk is very childlike and simple. I mean, he's not stupid. He's simple, like a big kid would be. And Egg is a little bit more sophisticated, and they really played that up in the beginning of this episode. And I think it added a lot to both characters. And I think what they're doing, having these two characters play off each other, is really strengthening both characters and making them both more interesting, especially as you learn more about each of them.
Yeah, I kind of agreed. Yeah, this show is like really kind of very thin with plot, and so like Egg is like the one thing that's holding me in terms of my attention. Because again, as you were saying before, like I like the dynamic between him and Dunk, and like of course we'll get into the reveal, the twist, which I mean it was kind of obvious, like if you were sleeping in a rock in the internet, like this was kind of like a known thing when the show was coming out, like and stuff like that. But anyway, so let me get to Cyber. Cyber, what are your thoughts about the opening here? The end point is Egg telling Dunk about like the highborn knights, whatever that means, compete on the tournament's first day. Go ahead.
So the opening sequence to this is kind of funny. Egg trying to, train the horses and stuff like that is really funny. Him trying to, like do the best he can as a squire, which is really fun. That guy he encounters is pretty interesting. Kind of at the same time, you're kind of like, what the hell is this motherfucker doing out here, just out of nowhere and spying on this little kid? Like it's kind of creepy. Kind of creepy there, man. But at the same time, it's like it's medieval times. So what do you expect? You got this crazy shit going on. But I think that Egg trying to be as best as he can at being the squire and everything is just really fun. Watching him trying to, be different than what he really is, as we'll find out later on the episode. But at the same time, you're just kind of like, oh, this kid, he's trying, and he's doing pretty good. So I think that he does a good job here in trying to learn this stuff. And of course, the horse kind of leads him some places and stuff like that. Is just really funny. Then of course, you have him finally coming back with the horse after the encounter with the dude. And I like how they had that little backstory showing him losing his eye. That was pretty funny. And you're like, how'd you lose the eye? And you like flashbacks, and you're like, oh, okay. But then when he gets back to Duck, and Duck kind of yells at him for saying, "Hey, tell me when you're gonna go somewhere, so I know where you are." is very like brotherly. Like it's not like really being like, you're my squire, I'm your knight, you have to do what I say. It's more like a brother looking out for a brother type of deal. And I think that's great. And it really kind of shines that great, fun kind of like camaraderie between Egg and Dunk, and how they're, very much like, older brother, younger brother. And then of course, Dunk, is eating shit. And he's like, oh, we're going to have this to eat. And he's like, oh, that again. And he's like, oh, I'm not going to eat that. And, they're kind of like having their kind of like back and forth little thing there. That was pretty funny. But then when like he goes off and Egg's up in the tree and he's like whittling the thing, making the noise, singing. And then all of a sudden you hear off in the background. You're like, maybe that meat was not good there, Dunk. Maybe you didn't cook it right or something there, bro. And then he, basically tells, after he comes over, he's like, why have I been throwing up all this time? It's like, I don't know. But tells him about how, the certain knights go first before he is, and that he's not going to go. And he's like, oh, I'm like, I think that seems kind of interesting too, because, Egg knows all this information and Dunk doesn't. And yet Dunk has been a squire for many years and, Egg hasn't. And so how does, Egg know all this stuff? It's kind of these things that come out of Egg's mouth throughout these episodes. You're kind of like, how does he know so much about this shit? Like, how does he know this kind of thing? It's like for such a young, young boy that's like, I think supposed to be 9, I believe. You're just kind of like, that's very interesting that he knows all this stuff. And it's kind of like each time he says something, you're kind of like, I think there's more to Egg than meets the eye. And, it just, after him telling that about how the jousting starts, you're just like, oh, okay, all right. And so I think the opening sequence is really fun. I think it's entertaining. I think it has some great value to it. I think it's interesting. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really great opening to this fun episode.
Thank you, Saber. Yeah, it's very interesting. I don't know why Don cooked that, breakfast. That was pretty bad. Never gonna eat eggs again. All right, Jeff, your thoughts on the beginning of this episode up to the bad breakfast?
Yeah, I mean, it's it's very like standard, Knight's Tale themed sort of fucking television show at the end of the day. The sort of events that occur, in the opening and then all through the episode are very much, all revolving around sort of this, I guess you could say like night lifestyle almost, right? That obviously exists, very much in a prominent way, which is alluded to, in Game of Thrones, just not to a very massive degree, but it's attention's paid to it, and if I remember correctly, I think that there was some jousting and stuff like that, on Game of Thrones, I believe, in like the first season, I think there was
the Rose Knight.
There definitely wasn't House of Dragon, but
no,
yeah,
it wasn't House of Dragon in the
first
first season.
First episode of House of Dragon had jousting in it.
Yeah, there was jousting in House of Dragon. Yeah,
that's it. That's really it. What we got from jousting. Yeah.
But yeah, it happened. Anyways, but I mean, it's obviously they've made it clear in other episodes that they want to use things like the horses and the animals and things like that sort of as a occasional plot device, and obviously, we'll talk about it later on in the episode. Horses end up being very prominent in the events of this episode, this short episode, But I quite personally really enjoyed the whole dynamic and conversation that Egg has with the horse, in the opening. It's very Egg-ish, kind of dialogue, kind of conversation, very not surprising from him. He just has this, you know, as Kyle mentioned already, you know, Egg has this, you know, almost like uncommon, like, you know, like sort of like, you know, very, very like surreal level of intelligence, you know, for in all reality, for a you know, for like a surf child, essentially, right? You know, essentially, you know, that's head shaved, and you know, that as far as Dunk knows, he found at a you know, you know, an inn, you know, as an inn boy or whatever. You know, he I think even Dunk like kind of catches him sometimes and like notices, you know, that Egg seems very knowledgeable, you know, like beyond his capacity almost, you know. He almost has too much information going on. So you know, he was going to get found out either way is my point, kind of, when it comes to his you know, dual identity. You know, and I'll tell you, you know, they do a really good job on the show of making the food and everything look very like you know, realistic and like very like appetizing, you know. That those sandwiches that Egg and Donk made, you know, or whatever, look really good. You know, they were definitely big.
Come on. We all have a craving now for a filet-o egg McMuffin.
Homemade breakfast sandwiches are really good overall, you know, like I think. So you know, I definitely you know, I was definitely digging those breakfast sandwiches. You know, they look like Dunk found some nice pieces of ham or something like that to put on there. Look good. You know, I don't see where Dunk keeps all his shit. Like, he keeps popping up in all these scenes with like different stuff. Like, he's got a pan now, he's got a knife and all this shit. I'm like, where'd this stuff come from? You know, like, I don't see him.
He finds it in the nearest hedge. He is a hedge knight.
He doesn't really have any bags or anything, you know? So, like, I don't know, you know? I don't know where he's finding all this gear all of a sudden, you know? But yeah, I mean, seeing Egg like train for the, you know, the actual tournament and everything and all that seems very realistic. I mean, I'd have to imagine that like Squire's probably trained, you know, to some extent, you know what I'm saying? And you know, you don't ever see Sir Dunk going down there to the tournament, you know, grounds to like you know, to like practice, you know, his knighting or whatever, you know. He doesn't do any of that kind of stuff, you know. He's too busy doing other stuff, you know what I'm saying? You know, so yeah, I mean, that's a beautiful horse. That horse that they have there that's taking a shit and you know, is Donk's horse or whatever, you know. That's a very beautiful horse. And I like you know, the horse Egg dynamic of the opening, you know. I dig it. You know, watching Egg like you know, make the horse run and everything, you know, and like make noises and like whoop and, you know, yell and shit and everything and all that's very entertaining. And again, you know, like Cyber said, the Egg and Donk dynamic, you know, on the show, on screen is very entertaining, very interesting, you know. You never really know what you're gonna get out of their dialogue, you know. I don't really take Dunk seriously, you know, when it comes to him threatening to whoop Egg all the time. Like, I don't really see Dunk actually like doing any like, you know, physical, you know, like discipline type stuff to Egg. I couldn't see that really happening. He doesn't seem like that kind of guy. But yeah, I mean, I don't think we're gonna see any more dicks. I think we've seen all the you know, the big penises and all that kind of stuff that we're gonna see for this show. You know, having full frontal male nudity is something you can only, you know, slide in so much into a television show, you know, in one season. So although I would not put it past HBO to do it again at some point in the show, I do not predict another, big dick flashback or anything like that occurring at any point in season 1 at least. But you never know with HBO. You never know. I do think it's very possible that we will get a sex scene eventually, like a high level HBO level sex scene probably at some point with Donk and that servant girl or whatever actress girl or whatever, that would not surprise me if that happens. I could see that as a prediction occurring. Again, very scrumptious looking fucking breakfast that Donk and Egg threw together on the show. I was definitely feeling that. And whatever those were, whatever those ostrich eggs were, whatever the fuck that was that he bought, that's the other thing too. How does Donk keep having money? Like, it didn't seem like he had much money to begin with at the beginning of the show. Like, he's really stretching his purse, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, he keeps somehow coming up with money.
Yeah, like last episode was like how much? Like 600 he got to sell that white horse and to pay the armor and all that. Like,
oh, that's right. I forgot. Yeah, I forgot he sold that horse. That's right.
Yeah, and then what was the other one you just brought up? That
I just brought up that he always seems to have money. Like that's all I was mentioning. I forgot about the horse. But he just always seems to have like this, unlimited amount of money, surprisingly. He's very poor, according to him, so that's just kind of shocking, But, obviously you need some money if you want to like survive at the tournament, right? Ale's not free, that's pretty much it, sir. The horse shitting scene, was just only so funny. It was okay, but nothing like spectacular.
Yeah, no, true. And don't ever say like we're probably gonna see more nudity and all that later in the series. I don't know. The show is crazy.
Nudity, yeah, but I just don't think male frontal nudity. I don't think there'll be any more.
Yeah, true. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't think you're gonna see Donk's dick at any point in the season.
Oh God, no! I don't want that. That'll be I agree with you, Kaya. Episode 2, I was like, oh my God, normal episode. And then of course, Donk's master came out in that house and like he just pee and is like, oh my God! I was like,
even on HBO, you can only do male frontal nudity so much in one season of a television show. Yeah, true. And there's no other studio out there except HBO that ever has the desire to actually inject male frontal nudity into their shows, other than maybe Showtime, which is owned by HBO.
Yeah.
I just will say this: Penny Tree did Dirk Diggler proud. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. But we'll see. I mean, hopefully they calm down with that. Sorry. But yeah, hopefully no more male nudity, as Jeff said before. Okay, let's move on. So while Dunk buys food, right? Tencel, this is the girl that like paint his shield, or like he told Dunk that he will, she would gladly do the shield. Tells him that the shield will be ready for that evening, and then at the same time, Egg requests to squire for Dunk permanently. Ooh, but they are interrupted by a plumber. He asks Dunk to take part in a rig just against Lord Asfor's son, Sir Andrew, right? To recoup the money spent on hosting the costly tournament, and gives Dunk a day to decide. So let me stop there. There's a lot packing in there, so let me go back to you, Jeff. What you thought about Egg asking Dunk, he wants to stay as a squire permanently, and then the end point is the plumber, this guy who his like has done this tournament and like is asking Don to like rig the like Joss tournament
Yeah.
against one of those like sons, and like he has a day to decide.
Yeah, the tournament director guy or whatever. The main guy doing the tournament. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's not really surprising that that Donk is honorable, or whatever, and would not want to fix a match, in the tournament. I'm not shocking at all, that would happen. I don't really see him changing his mind on that. Again, he seems like a very honorable, old-fashioned sort of, hedge knight, so, I mean, I'm not shocked that like disgusting fucking crude like nasty fucking dude that runs the tournament would be the guy to go to Donk to like do some devious shit like that. It'd be him that would do it, right? But I didn't completely understand what exactly he wanted him to do. I mean, I think he just wanted him to essentially win in a fixed match where the guy was going to lose on purpose or something like that, essentially. I don't know. I think that's what was happening. And Donk said no, as far as, them talking about Egg being the squire and everything, I mean, Donk, tells him, that he's not even sure if he's going to be a knight, after the first joust of the tournament or whatever, I think that, Donk's being pretty realistic with, what he can afford to, do with Egg, but it's obviously, nice to see, Egg wanting to, maintain their relationship beyond the tournament. I appreciate the sentiment of that, but I think that, the life of your typical hedge knight in this world of, a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is one of a very meager sort of lifestyle, in existence. And, be able to afford a squire and feed another human being, on top of yourself, in this brutal fucking world they live in, in this made up world, is a lot to take on, so I'm sure that for the sake of Egg overall, and for the sake of the television show overall, that obviously our hero Donk will eventually participate in the tournament and at least have some level of success, to the degree where he'll be able to keep Egg around and feed him and clothe him and all that other good stuff beyond the tournament, but that won't be happening until season 2 of the show, because I'm pretty solid and sure that season 1 is basically this tournament, and like that's the shelf life of the season is kind of the events of this tournament are going to be like the events of season 1 through episode 6. That's what we're going to get, and then season 2 will probably pick up with the story of Donk and Egg after the tournament, again, I'm not all that fond of that that head of the tournament character guy or whatever, he's kind of a fucking shitty guy, so I'm whatever about him, and not surprising though that like there would be a desire to fix the match and things like that, in these tournaments or whatever, that's not surprising to me, you know what I'm saying? And that there would be things like betting and stuff like that going on the side, that's all, like not surprising, whenever there's whenever there's humanity, there's always, gambling and, things like that, kind of comes hand in hand. That's it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the what is it? The tournament director. Yeah, he's okay. I mean, nothing special about him. Just kind of there, just moving along with the plot and all that. But yeah. So Kyle, you're next. What you thought about this section of Egg asking Dunk to be the squire for for more for a long term, and then the end point is pretty much the discussion that Dunk has with the director of the tournament to like rig the Joss against one of the Lord's sons. So go ahead.
Well, I think that the idea of Egg being Dunk's permanent squire gets more realistic and has more meaning as we get to the end of this episode, because when your family is batshit crazy, you probably want to get away from them at any way possible. But it's one of those things to where I think it goes back to what the heart of the show is, and its relationship between Dunk and Egg. And I think that's what helps helping that grow. I think the more interesting aspect is it's not so much about Dunk being honorable, because he is, and choosing not to take a fight that's going to not be honorable, but it's also Dunk just doesn't play the politics. He's one of us. He's a simple man who he just wants to be a knight. He wants to compete. He wants his take his opportunity. And I think that's one of the reasons why I think the character is so likable, is because we can relate to him in some ways in that aspect. He's just looking for a chance, but he's trying to do it in an honorable way. And I think most people, if you talk to most people out there, that's what they're looking for. They're trying to do it the right way and just looking for a chance. But you get frustrated, things happen, and so when you get these opportunities, thrown in front of you, sometimes you stop and think. And Dunk did probably stop and think about it, but he's a knight, and that he's not going to be that kind of knight. And I think that's a really good point of emphasizing the character of Dunk and what he represents, and being a hedge knight, especially. And he seems content with that. He doesn't want to necessarily be tied to a big house or something of that nature. He just wants to be a knight, and a quality knight, kind of like Jon Snow in a way early on in Game of Thrones, where his goal was to be a knight. He wanted to be a knight. And of course, he ends up going to the Night Watch, but it's the same principle. He's living by the principles of what makes a good knight, and that's what Dunk is doing too. And I think that's a real key aspect of this episode. And you go back to the whole thing when he first takes on Egg as a squire. One of the first things is like, "I'll never raise a fist to you," And then of course in this episode he threatens to punch him. It's one of those things that you're really seeing what's the heart of both characters, and I think it really reflected in this sequence in this episode.
Yeah, I agreed. The show is really good at keeping their tone consistent. Like that could have been really like, whoa, he wants to punch this kid, but it's just funny because just how funny Dunk is, because he's so contradictory sometimes with his statements, and it's hilarious. And then it shows how like dumb he really is, so stupid. Not like stupid, but like very dumb. All right, Cyber, you're next, sir. Your thoughts on Egg asking Dunk to be a squire, and then the end point is pretty much that the tournament director asking Dunk to be part of his scheme to rig one of the the tournaments to recoup money for the tournament that he's doing. Go ahead.
So yeah, all the Egg Dunk stuff I think is absolutely fantastic. I love the relationship between them. I love how they are like very much like brothers, and I think it's absolutely fantastic and fun. If you watch through the end of the episode and they do like a behind the scenes thing, the lead actor here that plays Dunk was talking about how he actually in real life has a real younger brother, and how he views his and Egg's relationship is very much like that relationship in real life. And so you could tell through how they act and all that kind of stuff. It's very much like that. It feels like a brother-brother relationship. And I think it's absolutely fantastic, And then Egg, of course, asking to become a squire, basically to stay a squire, I think is absolutely fantastic and fun. And I think, totally, I think he should be. because I think they work really well as a team. And then, of course, we have kind of that section leading up to when he goes and talks to that master guy, who, by the way, his scene in the first episode was absolutely fantastic, where he's spitting into the cup and stuff like that. So I was like expecting another like great kind of like scene like that, and I felt it was really fantastic. I really enjoyed like how he brought it up to Dunk and stuff like that, asking him to be a part of the play and make some money and stuff like that. Because I love how he's like Dunk's like, I don't have any money. He's like, that's pretty obvious. He's like, no, I wanted to give you some money. You're just kind of like, oh, what's he scheming here? And their whole conversation is really fun. I love how it's out in the middle of the woods and stuff like that. And I think it works out really well. And I think it's just really fun and entertaining. And I think that guy that plays that master guy, he is a fantastic actor. I really enjoy him. I think he does a great job of playing that character. I really enjoy him bringing it to life. And he has some really great one-liners as he, kind of expresses things. And I really enjoyed that. So I think that this section is really fun too. I think a lot of fun, kind of like camaraderie going on here. And at the same time, kind of an interesting little plan that you end up finding out about, that it could be good, it could be bad. You never know, but it's medieval times. So, you kind of just go with the punches. So I think that overall it's a fun scene that moves the story along very well.
Yep, I agree. Yep, that's much to say about that. But yeah, anyway, I thought all you guys were saying about this section is pretty much true. I kind of curious. Like, I thought the whole like house paid, this director to do the tournaments. I can't believe that he's the one that's doing the tournament, because how much it costs is gonna be a lot, right? It's crazy. But anyway, so let's move on. So during the so we get our first like proper like Joss match, similar to what we kind of saw in like in the first season of Game of Thrones, because they did that there. And then of course in the first episode in the House Dragon, as Kyle said before, we see one of the Targaryens get into this match. Was it Aaron Targaryen, who has the proper like Targaryen hair, and right away you could tell that he's like kind of like oh man, what's Matt Smith's character in House of Dragon? Damien, right? Like, he has that kind of attitude, like very cocky, and right away, like he like is like touring around with one of the opponents here, and like he acts very dishonorably and literally wounds Sir Heffron Harden's horse, was really brutal. Like, he like stabbed the horse to the neck, which was like really like bad. And of course, with that act, it outraged the crowd, and they start like like both sides beat each other. It was kind of weird. Yeah, and then after that, Dunk and A kind of talk to each other. They meet up with a fortune teller, and I this was kind of like, whoa, like another like obvious foreshadow if you didn't know who Egg was at that point. The fortune teller claims that Egg will become a king and die horribly, and I like how Dunk's reaction was like laughing. It's like, really, like, just you're not thinking the implication that he is one of the Targaryens, and so that was very funny. And then after that, Dunk and one of the houses, discuss the Targaryen, that the Jousting match that Aeron Targaryen did, and then this guy has I forgot his name, Raymond, expresses his hatred for the Targaryens, and then after that, Egg watches one of the the girl that did the shield performances that portrays the dragon being killed, feeling his family insult. Has the Targaryen Aeron breaks the girl's finger, which was really brutal. So I'm going into the finale, basically. So the wrap up is like the inferior. So Dunk gets very angry. He attacks and loosens one of the prince's teeth, which was kind of crazy. The guards quickly restrain Dunk as the Targaryen like prepares to knock out his teeth as vengeance. But Egg orders them to stop and reveals that he and the Aeron Targaryen are brothers. That I didn't know. I was kind of surprised that they were brothers. So that was kind of cool reveal. So that's pretty much how the end of the episode is. So let me get to you, Kyle. What you thought about the end of this episode? The twist that like we now confirm that Egg is a Targaryen, but the other big twist was he has a brother, and that was the one that we see this episode, Aeron Targaryen. So go ahead. What are your thoughts on this final episode?
First off, the actress who plays the puppeteer and kind of the love interest for Dunk has the best "oh, I'm so fucked" face when she looks up after they kill the puppet dragon and sees Targaryen in the crowd. Like, oh fuck! Yeah,
Fuck, we're dead.
Yeah. You that was great foreshadowing and a great moment. And kudos to that young actress for being able to pull that off. Again, the Egg quote unquote surprise was pretty telegraphed, but what I found most interesting about it was, even though he's the younger Targaryen, when he put out orders, that contradicted his brother's or older brother's orders. Now, who did the guards just immediately like side with? They sided with Egg.
Egg, yeah.
Which to me says a lot, and it makes me wonder. Is this older brother kind of been Joffrey Baratheon, where he's just like, yeah, nobody respects him, nobody likes him, and yeah, we're not gonna listen to anything he has to say. And because it took a lot of nights to get Dunk off of him, I'll say that too, and I think that's something to stand out. One of the other things I want to throw out real quick, because we didn't really cover it, the jousting scene in this episode. You have that many jousts going on at once, where usually when we see it in a movie, we just see the one joust competition. And they had that opening sequence the first night of the tournament, where you had 5 people going down the aisles jousting at each other. That was very phenomenally well done. And I got to give credit to that. But I mean, the end of this episode is what kept me in this show, because I was kind of at this point like, okay, if things don't start picking up, do I start thinking about backing off the show and putting it kind of on the back burner and eventually getting back to it, because it was moving so slow, and not, even though as much as I like the Dunk character, it was like, either something's got to start happening here. They got to shake this up, or they're going to start losing people. And they hit it perfect. They hit a home run in this episode. This has been the best. This was the best episode of the series, in my opinion. And it's the one that I think is going to have people talking, and they're actually going to be coming back next week going, what the hell is going to happen now? Because now that we know Egg is a Targaryen, is the missing Targaryen child, what the ramifications of that are, how are the Targaryens going to look at Dunk? Are they going to look at somebody who protected this kid, or somebody who's invaded the mind of this kid even more, who obviously wants some kind of distance from his family? And I think that screams something this show desperately needed, was to end episode with you asking questions and having those questions to talk about, because it hadn't done that yet. And I think it was the right time to do it, because unlike some other shows that wait too long to deliver the goods like that, I think if you don't have the goods delivered on a TV show these days by the end of the 3rd episode, you're kind of screwed, because it's either going to be too short of a season, or you're going to get pulled, or people are going to lose interest. And I think this was a great timing move by Game of Thrones to have this happen now, so people are going to go, well, what the hell happens next? And I think it's been a while since there's been a Game of Thrones show. I never got that feeling with House of the Dragon, with any of the episodes of House of the Dragon. I got that feeling from this episode of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and it's a feeling I haven't had in a while from Game of Thrones.
No, kind of agree. Yeah. The second season didn't have major twists. It was more like a more straightforward political, like setup for the War of the Dragons, or the Dance of the Dragons, they call it. But yeah, I kind of agree you, Kyle, what you say. Jeff, your thoughts on the final part of the episode, sir?
Yeah, I mean, the jousting, obviously, the scene where the horse gets killed. I'm not surprised by the actions of the Targaryen prince or whatever. He's a Targaryen, so I mean, you can't put anything past them. Based off past experience, right? Look at House of the Dragon. Those fucking Targaryen kids on that show are terrible. Although they're not quite as cruel as like Joffrey and some of the other motherfuckers that you see on Game of Thrones, right? There's some pretty sadistic shit going on, in this world that they live in on these shows. But obviously, they did a really good job pulling off that that horse impalement, very gruesome scene, obviously they never really fully like show you what happened to the guy that was on the horse, but he got fucked up pretty bad too, right? I think his leg got snapped or whatever, getting fallen on by a horse, I cannot imagine feels very good, and I think you're probably very lucky if you get rolled over on a horse and you don't get hurt. I think you're going to get fucked up to some extent when that happens. So, seeing that like actual incident where the fucking crowd, went crazy, and had to be restrained, over that incident and everything, I don't know how realistic that really is, in terms of, medieval times, in real life, historically, if that kind of stuff would happen. I'd have to imagine it probably did happen, in real life, things like that would happen. The crowds, I think probably, would get pretty, intense at these, tournaments, as far as the ending goes, I'm not shocked at all, of course, that that Donk would stand up, for that actress chick or whatever. That's not surprising at all. Donk is a stand-up dude, so him going in there and laying hands on that fucking douchebag, prince or whatever, just because they depicted or made fun of the Targaryens or whatever and their dragons or some shit like that in a play. That guy's obviously a fucking total prick. That Targaryen fucking prince or whatever, I was really concerned about Donk there for a minute. I thought he was going to lose his teeth there for a minute. I really did, them guards grabbed him up real quick and had him biting the curb real quick.
I think he would have lost a lot more than his teeth.
Yeah, for real, dude. But Egg stepped in, and revealed himself at the same time, right? Unsurprisingly, and obviously since Donk is the main protagonist or whatever of the show, I think he's going to be okay, right? He's probably going to be forced to like joust with that prince next episode or something like that, or whatever.
We just better make sure the actor is not related to Sean Bean in any way.
I don't think he is.
We know how well how it ended for Sean Bean.
Kyle, if he was related to Sean Bean, I'm pretty sure we would have heard about it at some point before the show came out. I'm pretty sure. I don't think that's a reality.
But like I said, it never ends well for Sean Bean. So
Yeah, Sean Bean's not the only other actor whose characters die a lot, in their films and TV shows and things like that. He's not the only one. He's just obviously a very popular one. Honestly, the decision to kill off the Ned Stark character in Game of Thrones at the end of season 1 was a very fitting decision for the show. I thought, he was a great character on the show for a season, but I really thought that at the time that happened, I really thought that it showed a lot about, the confidence that they had in the show itself, and in this ensemble sort of, acting, that they put together for the show, that they were willing to, kill off a really popular, likable character like that, on that show. I thought that was very daring of a move for them to make. But that was all in the cards, and unfortunately, when you sign up for a role, on a television show or a movie, that's a reality that you have to accept. Unfortunately, as an actor, is the death of a character. And I mean, I was definitely concerned about Dunk though for a minute there. I mean, honestly, I don't know. Obviously, I don't know how how important Egg really is overall in the Targaryen family or whatever. But how Dunk is going to walk away from that whole situation with the prince after putting his hands on him like that unscathed, I don't know. Honestly, I thought he was going to get stabbed there for a minute, during the episode. That actress chick is really cute. She's a very cute young actress, obviously. Very, very nice to look at on the show. And I would not complain about a nude scene from her at some point in the future. And I think it's very possible that we could get that too. Or at least there'll be some. I wouldn't be surprised if we get some kind of female nudity at some point during the season. But that's it, sir.
Awesome. All right. Cyber, your thoughts on the final part of episode 3, sir? Go ahead.
I really enjoyed the remainder of this episode. It's action packed. I love all the great jousting sequence. I love watching Egg and Dunk at the jousting, watching as things go on. Of course, the Targaryen guy, him doing dirty and killing that horse was freaking insane. That was freaking awesome. I mean, they did a great job making it look like the horse really got pierced and the blood and stuff like that was really cool. And I thought that was done really well. And I think overall, they just did a really good job of bringing that to life and giving this some great jousting sequences there that were just really fun. And, I think that just like kind of what Kyle mentioned earlier about kind of the Knight's Tale, I did kind of get that feeling watching this episode. I definitely had that Knight's Tale vibe, most definitely. And especially when he's like, they're watching it happen and they watch the horse get killed and everything, and the night guy get injured and stuff. You're like, holy shit, that's insane. It was just really fun, and I thought action packed and fun, and gave you that kind of great kind of like Game of Thrones feel, most definitely. But then after that whole situation, and him and Dunk and Egg have that little conversation as they walk out and everything. And then, they end up kind of going some different places, and they end up getting to the point where that lady that Dunk has fallen in love with ends up getting in trouble with the Targaryen guy. And you're just like, oh no, this is not good. And he breaks her freaking figure, was freaking insane. I was like, what the fuck? And then Dunk loses it and starts beating the crap out of him. And I'm like, yes, this is awesome. And, of course, loses his tooth a little bit and stuff like that was really fun. But I think that whole situation, the whole, basically that Targaryen guy being such a dick, which who didn't see that coming? We all saw that coming because they're the Targaryens. And I was just kind of like, oh, this guy's going to cause trouble. I mean, he started trouble at the tournament. Even the guys judging the tournament, when they saw that happen, they're like, oh, shit, this idiot. Type of deal was like, oh, okay. But like him going after that chick, I was just like, what the hell is wrong with you, bro? Like, she's just this girl. Like, what has she done so bad that you got to break her finger and everything? And, Dunk, going after him, and then 3 guys having to press down on Dunk to keep fighting was like really cool too. Showing once again, how big Dunk is and how, strong he is. And, you're just like, and then, of course, Egg popping up right at the end there and saying, stop it, brother. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, And that little twist, him being a Targaryen, and he shaved his head so that they don't know he's a Targaryen. I'm like, oh shit, just got interesting. And then poor Dunk's face after he finds out that he's a Targaryen is like, so he just looks so distraught, so upset.
I would think he'd be like, oh fuck, he's a Targaryen. What the hell are they gonna do with me for what I've been doing with their son, treating him like a commoner?
yeah, that too, yeah. And I was like, oh, I'm like, what a twist. I'm like, him actually is, because the whole time watching Egg over the last 3 episodes, it's like, there's something different about this kid. He is not just some normal poverish kid. There's something more behind this kid that meets the eye. And I just had that feeling the whole time. And so when that popped up and him actually being a Targaryen, being a prince, I was like, there it is. I knew it. Especially just because how he was introduced and everything. And I was just kind of hanging out, his head's shaved, and I'm like, why the fuck is this kid's head shaved? I'm like, does he got cancer or something? Like, what's going on here? And I was like, okay, all right. I'm like, all right. And so when that finally popped up, I'm like, yeah. So I was like, I knew it. It just was like so freaking cool that he's actually a Targaryen. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be interesting to see how this unfolds throughout the rest of the 3 last episodes. And I was just like, okay, should be interesting. And it still, that relationship has just been so cool over the last 3 episodes. And then to have this happen, you're just like, oh, what's going to happen to that relationship? But I thought the last portion of this episode was really fantastic. You know, great action, great dialogue, just fun, interesting, great twist. Just overall, just really fun. I really enjoyed it. And I thought it was a fantastic conclusion to this episode.
No, I agreed. Yeah, I'm very curious because now Dunk has the opportunity to be having as sponsors, and that's Egg. Like Egg can help, convince I guess the uncle to like properly fund him now. Because of Egg has more respect and more legitimacy to like take the Iron Throne than his brother, as we see. Like come on, like the father is like very the uncle is just like during that horrible Justin match, like you see his reaction to seeing his I guess nephew being in that match, and like he's like, oh no, please don't do something stupid. And of course he didn't. Of course he did. And so I'm very curious, like now that Dunk sees who Egg is, like is his opportunities going to be more like better now, because like Egg is maybe wants to like help out more Dunk to get into this tournament. We'll see. And I do agree with you, Cyber. Yeah, why did he wanted to break the girl's fingers? That was so brutal.
Because he's a Targaryen. He's sadistic.
I know that, but like it's so like brutal. Like come on, it was just like a fake dragon. It wasn't like they're telling stories.
You don't even show weak dragons are weak in front of a Targaryen. It's just bad mojo.
Yeah, I get it, but I don't know. I feel like that was totally out crazy there. But anyway, as I said before, it's not as crazy as Joffrey did in Game of Thrones, I gotta say. When I saw the early seasons, when he killed that prostitute in his room with the arrows, that was like, whoa, that's like crazy. So yeah, so this was like mildly whatever. Anyway, let's get into ratings. Kyle, your rating for episode 3.
I would say I'd give this episode out of 10. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. The shortness of it hurt it a little bit.
Yeah.
It was the first episode of the series that I felt really moved, though. I would probably have given episodes 1 and 2 each a 5 out of 10. So I think 7, because I think this show has the capability of improving greatly from this point forward. So a 7 for me feels like a good place on this, showing that there's been a level up since episode 2, but I think there's a lot more room to do more with this show.
Yeah. No, I agree. Cyber, your rating for this episode. Go ahead.
All right. So, Mr. 10 is here to stay. This is a 10. 10 out of 10. It's so much fun. It was so good. It was so fun. I absolutely love this episode. 10.
He has spoken. Mr. 10 has spoken.
Can I get an amen?
Amen. Yes. Hallelujah. Awesome. Thank you, Cyber. Jeff, your rating for this episode.
Yeah, I can't give a 10 to a 31-minute, 27-minute long episode of the show. I do think that this show has had some strong episodes already before this one. I'll say that. I'll give it a 7.5. It's got to be longer than 31 minutes. That's just way too short. You're not giving the show enough time to breathe and have events occur in 31 minutes. It's just not enough. For a show like this, I'd like to see longer and longer episodes overall. I don't like these back-to-back short episodes. But that's about it, sir. 7.5.
I would think we saw much longer in episode 2.
That's what I'm saying. 2 30-minute, like something long episodes in a row. I'm just not a fan of that.
Yeah. I don't know. I if this show was more like Game of Thrones, doing more storylines, then it makes sense for them to do the like hour-long thing that we used to do, in these shows and other shows to review. But like, because the type of show this is, doesn't really require like an hour long, despite what's going on. I mean, it's just they're mainly focused on Dunk and Egg, so, and it just makes sense. So yeah, but at the same time they can extend the hour to develop more of their friendship. Yeah. So my rating, I'll give this like a 7 out of 10 as well. Like as I think Kyle said before, because it's a good, decent episode. It's like, I like the twist, which I kind of saw that as a mile away. I mean, we kind of knew what was going on, but I thought it was an enjoyable episode. Really like the comedy beats, and the relationship with Dunk and Egg is the best part about this episode. But yeah, it's a good, entertaining episode, which is really good. Oh, and just a few things I just want to bring up. Apparently, so like the development of the show, but just bear with me, like, because Kaya brought up like there was some discussions about a Dunk and Egg television adaptation, like a television film, like your typical like 2 hour like television film. They were, that was the thing that was attempted during 2016 apparently, but they passed it on because they didn't believe that this project was as interesting as the Dance of the Dragons that later became House of Dragon. So I just want to clarify with Kyle that this show was initially a film, but a television film, but then it just got passed, and then later on it got picked up as like just a television show. So just kind of get.
It has a little bit of that feeling with these shorter episodes, and that's why I was kind of feeling that way. Is like, I think if this was always planned as a television show, these episodes would at least be running 40 to 45 minutes a pop.
Yeah, and just kind of remind people, there's 3 like books with the Duncan Egg tale. Like the Hedge Knight is the first book, so that's what's based on for this first season. And I guess the second season could be the Soren Sword, and then the third one is called the Mystery Knight. So that's like the 3 books that's under this, like the tales of the Duncan Egg. So very interesting. And I think we'll end it right there. But yeah. Anyway, thank you everyone for joining us on the Night of Seven Kingdoms episode 3 live recap discussion. Thank you everyone for your thoughtful thoughts. I hope you guys enjoy my moderation. Please let me know how to improve as always. So now I'm gonna give it to Jeff to like plug us out, and yeah, have a good night.
All right, Kyle, go ahead, sir. Fan Podcast Network.
Fan Podcast Network entering its 10th year of existence. We cover everything from modern to retro. We right now we've been doing a run. We have a show called Couch Potato Theater, which we take one of those movies that you end up watching, finding them on TV, even though you might own them, and you end up watching it. We've been doing a little 80s retrospective with some canon films, including Invasion USA. We're going to be doing Bloodsport here soon. We've had some fun re-releasing some of our more classic episodes as we've hit 10 years, and giving those a fresh coat of paint and putting them out there. And of course, we have our great show Time Warp. We just started covering the movies of 1996 in that show, and each month we'll cover the movies corresponding with that month. We have a lot of fun. Plus, we're just covering everything that's happening in pop culture right now. A lot of things. I think this is going to be a huge year for films. I think there's going to be a lot of films to talk about and see, and we're going to be covering all on the Fandom Podcast Network. And we just have a lot of fun making some podcasts to feed your ears.
Kyle, I would definitely be down to do one of your Time Warp yearly year breakdowns of film and pop culture and all that. I would totally love to participate in one of those. I love discussing 90s pop culture.
Well, there's a lot of it to discuss. If you go and look at the year of 1996, there's some pretty significant movies that came out. And
I thoroughly enjoy conversations on things like the Oscars from different years and things like that. I enjoy those talks. So I would love to guest on one of those. Just let me know.
We'll see what we can work up. Maybe, especially when we get to it, because usually our last episode of the year is when we talk about the Oscars and everything of that nature too, and of course the Razzies. Can't forget the Razzies.
I'd rather do one of those throwback ones, brother.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Andres.
Hello, everyone. This is Andres, Bulk Culture Guy. Kyle, it was great to see you, sir.
Always good to see you, Andres.
Yeah, keep up the awesome content. Yeah, 1996, great year. I mean, that's when the first Mission Impossible came out, Independence Day, the first Scream movie, and of course, my favorite, Mars Attacks, came out that same year. At least we have 2 cassettes to the house still going, and that's good. As the president of Jack Nicholson say. Anyway, so I recently posted my big pod, Andreas Pop Culture Movies Retrospective Review, where I review 4 movies this month that is going on in my channel. So you got respect reviews for Deadpool, the first film, Terminator 2, Clockwork Orange, and Scream. And each of these are related to things I'm doing this month. So like tomorrow night, I'm going to do a pod with the Middleman reviews where we're going to record the Clockwork Orange, which is awesome. If you didn't check, they recently released the Terminator 2 pod this weekend. So you can check out the podcast on that, which was really fun. And you can check out my retrospective/review of Terminator 2 right there. Shorts, I'm doing Deadpool shorts because it's the 10th anniversary of Deadpool. So, and our, the Murph for the Mac is right there. I got a couple of TV reviews. One for Blind Spot season 2. I got Bridgerton because we got the season 4 Bridgerton right now, and so gonna do season 2 review when we get part 2 out in the February of 26. And I'll still do the Terminator clips as well. And speaking of Deadpool, my next live stream review is going to be Deadpool, the first film. So that's going to be our next live stream movie review. I'm contenting a couple of content creators to join for that and Scream. That's going to be our second movie review for this February because we got the new Scream movie coming out in the 26th. So it'll be good to talk about Scream, and it's a big year for Scream, not only for a new movie, but it's also its 30th anniversary as well. So that's what I have right now in February. So I'm going to split up the retrospective/reviews each week. So you're going to see the Deadpool retrospective/review next week to coincide the anniversary. And then whenever the Middleman reviews will release the Clockwork Orange, I will release my separate Clockwork Orange retrospective review at that point as well. And same thing with Scream when we get to the week when the movie comes out. But yeah, that's all I had to say. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Okay. Cyberneticshark, sir. Go ahead.
All right. So, if you enjoy me here on the panel, or if you enjoy me as a moderator, you can check out my solo content. You'll find me under Cyberneticshark. My main homepage is YouTube, so check that out. If you haven't checked out my Patreon, check that out too. So on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all those great places. As you see there, my most recent review up is my Anaconda movie review. So if you have not seen that, check that out. If you haven't seen my Avatar Fire and Ash review, definitely check out that one out too. Those were my 2 most recent movie reviews. More stuff to come from that as well. and all kinds of cool stuff. If you haven't seen any of my recent shorts, I did 2 more new Soras for you guys. One of me as a sports drink commercial guy, and then one as a medieval guy. So if you haven't seen those, definitely check those out. If you haven't seen my 2 most recent mini reviews, of course, for Mercy and 28 years later, the Bone Temple, definitely check those out too. I appreciate everyone that watches my content. Keep on subscribing, keep on watching, check out that Patreon page, keep on watching all these other great, amazing content creators that we have on the show, and we appreciate it, guys. Keep watching us here at the Bleeding Edge as well. We appreciate you.
All right, folks. And we'll be back on Friday, Andres and Cyber and I, for Fallout episode 8. And as far as A Night in 7 Kingdoms episode 3 goes, we're out of here. Peace. Good night.